Once upon a time, long, long ago, there was a little pixie, and his name was Dixie. And Dixie was sitting in the shop of Mr. Lolo, the shoemaker, when one of the king's soldiers came and said to him that Mr. Lolo must make the king a pair of new shoes. Now, Mr. Lolo was very excited, so he started making the shoes immediately. But that evening, when it was dark, the little pixie, Dixie, walked through the streets, climbed through the window of Mr. Lolo's shop, and he saw the shoes of the king on the counter. They were red and they had golden buckles, and he thought they were so beautiful. But he was a very naughty little pixie, so he looked around until he found a box where there was a label that stood, on the label there stood, studs for dancing shoes. So he took the silver studs and he took a little hammer and he hammered them into the soles of the shoes. The next day the king was so glad to get his shoes. They were beautiful. And that evening he had a great big meal with very important guests. So he wore his red shoes. While he was sitting, just as he was sitting down to have his supper, do you know what? Suddenly his feet started itching and the shoes started dancing, and the king just had to get up and dance and dance and dance and dance, and he just couldn't sit down until he was so tired he just flopped down on a chair and he said to his butler, "Please take off these shoes and throw them away. I am so embarrassed." Now the butler thought those shoes were so beautiful he wasn't going to throw them away, so he put them outside the castle gate. The next morning, old Mrs. Brown was on her way to the market and she saw these beautiful shoes. So she thought, "I'm going to take them." She put them on and she hardly had them on when she started dancing. The shoes just kept on dancing and dancing and dancing. She danced all the way to the market and she started shouting to the people, "Please help me, help me." But they didn't know what to do. And then suddenly, the shoes just stopped dancing and she fell to the floor and she was so tired they had to call the doctor. Now the doctor was a very clever man and he realized there was something wrong with these shoes. So he took them off, he put them on the ground and he said to the shoes, "Now dance to the person who made you dance like this." And the shoes started dancing. And they danced around Mr. Lolo's shop, and there at the back of the shop was little Dixie laughing hysterically. Now the people were very, very angry with him. But you know what the shoes did, children? The shoes slipped onto Dixie's feet and Dixie started dancing. And he danced and danced. He danced right down the street, out of the town, over the hills, and they never saw little Dixie again. The naughty little pixie. Today I'm just going to give you a hug from all the teachers. Here it is. A nice big hug. Love you lots. Bye.